All right, let's do it.
Sometimes the most incredible stories in basketball aren't the ones that start with a kid dominating from day one. Sometimes they're about the player who got cut from his high school team, who had to transfer schools just to find his place, who watched other players get drafted ahead of him, and who had to prove himself over and over again until nobody could ignore him anymore. That's exactly what happened with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, popularly known as SGA. And by June 2025, this kid from Hamilton, Ontario, the same kid who couldn't make his school's junior boys team, was holding up the Larry O'Brien Trophy as an NBA champion and Finals MVP. But here's the thing that makes Shai's story so fascinating. He didn't just become a star. He became a throwback star in an era where everyone told him his style wouldn't work. While the entire NBA was obsessed with three-pointers and analytics, Shai was out here perfecting the mid-range jumper like it was 1995. While everyone was trying to replicate Stephen Curry's game, Shai was studying Michael Jordan's hesitation, moves, and crafting something completely different. Today, we're going to break down how a kid who was told he wasn't good enough became the most unique superstar in today's NBA, and how he led the Oklahoma City Thunder to their first championship. Since moving to Oklahoma City, this is the story of how being different became Shai's greatest strength. Hamilton, Ontario was where the whole story begins to make sense. Born on July 12, 1998, in Toronto but raised in Hamilton, Shai wasn't your typical basketball prodigy. He literally couldn't make his high school team at first. Picture this: you're a freshman at St. Thomas More Catholic Secondary School. You try out for the junior boys basketball team and you get cut. For most kids, that's where the story ends. They move on to something else, maybe try again next year, or just accept that basketball isn't for them. But here's where Shai's story gets interesting and where his family background becomes crucial. See, Shai didn't come from a family that accepted no easily. His mother, Charmaine Gilgeous, competed in the 1992 Summer Olympics for Antigua and Barbuda in the women's 400 meters. Think about that for a second. His mum was an Olympic athlete. She knew what it took to compete at the highest level and, more importantly, she knew what it felt like to overcome obstacles. His father, Vaughn Alexander, was a skilled basketball player who won a Toronto City championship in the early 1990s and later became Shai's coach during his youth. So when Shai got cut from that team, he wasn't just going home to parents who would pat him on the back and say maybe next year. He was going home to two elite athletes who understood that rejection was just the first step in a longer journey. When St. Thomas More didn't work out, Shai transferred to Sir Allan MacNab Secondary School. But that wasn't the right fit either. So he made the bold decision to leave Canada entirely and move to Hamilton Heights Christian Academy in Chattanooga, Tennessee, for his junior and senior years. This is a teenager leaving everything he knew: his friends, his family, his entire support system to chase a dream that most people thought was unrealistic. But that's exactly what separated Shai from everyone else. While other kids were playing it safe, he was willing to be uncomfortable if it meant getting better, and at Hamilton Heights, something clicked. As a senior, he averaged 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 4.0 assists per game. But more importantly, he was learning to play a different style of basketball. While everyone else was trying to bomb threes, Shai was developing this unique ability to score in the mid-range, to use hesitation moves, to create space in ways that nobody else was doing. His performances at the 2017 Nike Hoop Summit and the 2016 FIBA Americas U18 Championship for Team Canada started turning heads. College recruiters were seeing something special: not just a good player, but a different kind of player. Someone who could score efficiently without relying on the three-point line, someone who could create his own shot, someone who played with a maturity that was rare for his age. That's how he ended up at the University of Kentucky in 2017, joining one of the most prestigious programs in college basketball. During his freshman season, he appeared in 37 games, starting 24, and averaged 14 points, 5.1 assists, and 4.1 rebounds. But here's what made those numbers special: he shot 48.5% from the field and 40.4% from three-point range. Even as a college freshman, he was showing that rare combination of efficiency and versatility. The SEC Tournament MVP award in 2018 was just confirmation of what people were starting to realize: Shai wasn't just another good college player. He was someone who could impact winning at the highest level. And on April 9, 2018, he made the decision that would change everything. He declared for the NBA draft.
Shai Gilgeous Alexander from Hamilton, Canada, and the University of Kentucky.
But here's where the story gets really interesting. The Charlotte Hornets selected him 11th overall in the 2018 NBA draft, but immediately traded him to the Los Angeles Clippers on draft night. Now, for most rookies, getting traded before you even play a game might be discouraging. But for Shai, it was just another example of how his journey was going to be different from everyone else's. Landing with the Los Angeles Clippers in 2018 was both a blessing and a curse for Shai. On one hand, he was joining a franchise that was building something special with a solid organization and good coaching. On the other hand, he was walking into a situation where his role would be limited, at least initially. In his rookie season, Shai played all 82 games, and that's not a small detail. In an era where load management was becoming common, here's a 19-year-old who showed up every single night, averaging 10.8 points, 3.3 assists, and 2.8 rebounds in 26.5 minutes per game. His versatility and poise earned him a spot on the NBA All-Rookie second team, but more importantly, he was learning how to be a professional. The thing about Shai's rookie season is that it was setting the foundation for everything that came after. He wasn't putting up spectacular numbers, but he was showing flashes of something special. The way he could create space for his jumper, the way he could see the floor, the way he stayed calm in high-pressure situations. These were the skills that would eventually make him a superstar. But here's where the Clippers' situation became a problem. The roster was stacked with veterans, and there were only so many minutes to go around. Then, in the summer of 2019, the Clippers made a massive trade to acquire Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Suddenly, Shai found himself as the odd man out, not because he wasn't good enough, but because the team was going all in on a championship run with established stars. So in July 2019, Shai was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder as part of the Paul George deal. And this is where his story gets really fascinating, because what looked like a setback was actually the best thing that could have happened to him. He went from being a role player on a team with championship aspirations to being the focal point of a rebuilding franchise. The Thunder weren't expected to compete right away, which meant Shai could make mistakes, learn from them, and develop his game without the pressure of having to win immediately. But the crazy part is the Thunder made the playoffs in Shai's first season there. Despite being in what everyone thought was a rebuilding mode, they finished as the 5th seed in the Western Conference. And a huge part of that was because Shai had become their leading scorer and was showing that he could carry a team over. The next few years, we watched Shai transform from a promising young player into one of the most unique stars in the NBA. His scoring average jumped from 19.0 points per game in 2019-20 to 24.5 in 2021-22. And then to a massive 31.4 points per game in 2022-23. But it wasn't just the numbers, it was how he was scoring. While everyone else was trying to maximize their three-point attempts, Shai was perfecting an art form that most people thought was dead: the mid-range jumper. His hesitation moves, his ability to create space, his footwork. It was like watching someone from a different era, but with modern athleticism and basketball IQ. The 2022-23 season was his true breakout year. He averaged 31.4 points per game, finishing 4th in the league in scoring, and earned his first All-Star selection and All-NBA first-team honors. He was also averaging 1.6 steals and 1.0 blocks per game, proving that he wasn't just a scorer, he was a complete two-way player. The 2024-25 season was when everything came together for Shai Gilgeous Alexander. This was the year he went from being a really good player to being mentioned in the same breath as the absolute best players in the world. And by the time it was over, he had the hardware to prove it. Let's start with the regular season numbers, because they're absolutely insane. Shai averaged a league-leading 32.7 points per game. But here's what made it special: he did it on 51.9% shooting from the field, 37.5% from three, and 89.8% from the free throw line. Those efficiency numbers while leading the league in scoring? That's MVP level stuff. And speaking of MVP, that's exactly what he won. Shai captured the 2024-25 NBA MVP award, beating out established superstars like Nikola Jockey and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Think about how incredible that is. A player who couldn't make his high school team was now being recognized as the best player in the world. But individual awards were just the beginning. The Thunder finished with a franchise-best 68-14 record, securing the top seed in the Western Conference. 68 wins. That's the kind of record that gets you mentioned with the greatest teams in NBA history. Now, regular season success is one thing, but playoff success is completely different. The pressure is higher, the games are more physical, and every possession matters. The Western Conference playoffs were a gauntlet. Every series was a test of Shai's ability to perform when it mattered most. But the Western Conference Finals against the Minnesota Timberwolves was where he really showed what he was made of. Against the Timberwolves, Shai averaged 31.4 points, 8.2 assists, and 5.2 rebounds per game. But it was Game 4 that really stood out. He recorded a playoff career-high 40 points, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists, narrowly missing a triple-double in one of the most important games of his career. That performance earned him unanimous Western Conference Finals MVP honors. His teammate, Aaron Wiggins, called him an elite closer, and Thunder forward Chet Holmgren said, "We've seen it before from him." We know that's the type of player he is. This wasn't just about individual brilliance, this was about a player who had found a way to elevate his entire team when it mattered most. The playoffs also showcase something else about Shai's game, his completeness. He had 10 games with at least 30 points and 5 assists, putting him in company with players like Michael Jordan and LeBron James. That's not a coincidence, those are the kinds of players who can dominate a game in multiple ways. This was the ultimate test. The NBA Finals against the Indiana Pacers. Everything Shai had worked for, everything he had dreamed of since he was a kid getting cut from his high school team, came down to this 7-game series. The finals were a thriller. Shai averaged 30.3 points, 5.6 assists, and 4.6 rebounds per game, but more importantly, he scored 30 or more points in 5 of the 7 games. Game 1 was heartbreaking, he dropped 38 points, but the Thunder lost 111-110 in Game 4. With the series tied, Shai scored 15 points in the fourth quarter, including a pivotal mid-range jumper against Aaron Nesmith that helped tie the series 2-2. Game 5 was a complete performance, 31 points, 10 assists, 4 blocks, and 2 steals. This wasn't just scoring, this was dominating every aspect of the game, but it was Game 7 that cemented Shai's legacy. At home in Paycom Center, with everything on the line, he delivered 29 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, and 2 blocks in a 103-91 victory over the Pacers. That performance earned him the Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP award. This made Shai become just the 4th player in NBA history to win the MVP, Finals, MVP, and scoring title in the same season. He joined Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and other legends in that exclusive club. A kid from Hamilton, Ontario, who couldn't make his high school team, was now being mentioned with the greatest players to ever play the game. The championship wasn't just about individual success. It was about proving that a different style of play could still work in the modern NBA. While everyone else was trying to copy what the Golden State Warriors had done, Shai was showing that there were other ways to win. His mastery of the mid-range game, his ability to create space, his clutch performances, these were reminders that basketball is still about putting the ball in the basket, no matter how you do it. Shai's journey from Hamilton to NBA champion is about more than just basketball. It's about perseverance, about being willing to be different, about never giving up on your dreams even when everyone tells you they're impossible. It's about taking rejection and using it as motivation to prove everyone wrong. And now, as he continues to redefine what guard play looks like in the modern NBA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's legacy is just beginning. He's not just a champion. He's a reminder that sometimes the best way to stand out is to be yourself, even when everyone else is trying to be someone else. So there you have it, the incredible story of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from Hamilton to NBA champion. What makes this story so special isn't just that he overcame rejection and adversity. It's that he did it by staying true to his own unique style of play. In an era where everyone was trying to revolutionize basketball with 3-point shooting and analytics, Shai went back to fundamentals. He perfected the mid-range jumper, developed incredible footwork, and learned how to create space in ways that nobody else was doing. He didn't try to be Stephen Curry or LeBron James, he became the first and only Shai Gilgeous Alexander. The lesson here isn't just about basketball. It's about having the courage to be different, the persistence to keep working when others doubt you, and the vision to see potential where others see limitations. Shai's journey from a kid who couldn't make his high school team to NBA Finals MVP is proof that sometimes the most unconventional paths led to the most extraordinary destinations. As we look ahead, it's clear that Shai's story is far from over. He's still young, he's still improving, and he's now the face of a Thunder franchise that looks built for sustained success. But regardless of what happens next, he's already accomplished something remarkable. He's changed the way we think about what's possible in basketball, and maybe that's the most important lesson of all. Sometimes the greatest revolution comes, not from following the crowd, but from having the courage to walk your own path. What did you think of Shai's incredible journey? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories about the players who are changing the game of basketball.